Hi guys, welcome back to Kit Car Direct and MK Sportscars. Well, it's the Monday after our Cars and Coffee event. Well, I've got to say a big thanks to everybody that turned out. The weather wasn't particularly good, but the turnout was amazing. There's so many people here, which so great. Hopefully you enjoyed it and you had a look round. You got what you came for when you come here. We had a nice coffee and cake machine, van out there. We had a burger truck with doing all that food and catering for you guys as well. Plenty of cups of coffee, plenty of food for you available, and the DJ was playing the music nice and loud. So it was just an amazing day for us. We had an absolute stonking time. It's always nice to talk to you guys about what we do here and answer all your questions. Well, the question we got last for a lot was basically this: the Mazda base car, the RX-5. So this is here, this is what was on show on the day, and I'm going to talk you around the rest of the car. So if you wasn't able to get down, you can kind of get a snapshot of what was available to you. The RX-5, well, what was the most popular question? Well, how much is it? £30,000 to build, £40,000 to build, £10,000 to build? That was the question, obviously, get asked the most. Well, the full kit, this is it. This is basically the car that we sell. As you see it here, this was taken, a Mazda donor car with a chassis that started out like this and turned into this as an entry-level car without the turbo, normally aspirated. This is in kit form £9,995. £10,000 basically of your finest. It's so cheap really for what you get. You get the 1.840 horsepower engine, you get nice seat belts, what are all branded, you get fiberglass seats, you get a suede steering wheel, you get the instrument cluster dashboard, you get the nice boot cover, you get the light pack, you get the rear arches, the front arches, the headlights, the indicators, everything that you see on this particular car here. And we've just test driven this because this is going off for IVA and it drives fantastic. So all the brakes and that, we did do a little refresh. There was a little bit of extra money, but if you can not salvage them, like we put some new discs on it, which are about 50, 60 pounds. So not the end of the world. So what is it? That is what it's about. It's a great looking car, a stripe pack on it. It's going off to IVA. This will be soon tearing up the streets up in North Yorkshire. And I've got to be honest, for that money, built at home in your garage, and that's all you need to do is invest your time, guys. A couple of 100 hours of your time and you can have one of these on your driveway. Right, next on show for you guys, what we had out of the weekend was a couple of chassis in different formats here. We'll start off here. This is our Mazda base chassis, the RX-5, which is the finished car next to it, turning this into that, including your donor car, absolutely killer. Showing a roll cage option here. We do a few different options. We do the FIA cage, we do the internal cage of 50mm, which is this one with side impact bars, or without the side impact bars. So this chassis was on show to show you where you start with, what you get, but it isn't like you've got to make loads of bracketry for all of this. All of the little fixings are on here. So we've got now, these are new radiator brackets that we've had welded in, so you bolt them on. Headlight brackets are no longer here on the chassis welded in. They come as a remote headlight bracket that bolts through this top bolt. So that's the new one. All the pedal box mountings are in, all the steering column mounts are in, the gearbox mounts, the engine mounts, all ready for you to fit. The brake tees, all ready to fit, the steering rack, everything else is in here. Even fixing points for your scuttle, all your harness things are done, the handbrakes done, the diffs done, the fuel tank brackets are done. It's all there for you. So you haven't got to make silly little brackets and stuff like that. You can just start by fitting the fuel lines, fitting the brake lines, fitting the pedal box and fitting the fuel, floor pans. Then the diff goes in, then the engine goes in, the fuel tank, and you have it running in no time. Next chassis, we thought we'd show one that was in bare format. So this is a project one that we're doing with hashtag Ben, shall we say, which is K20. We love that engine. This is mated to a BMW gearbox. We've gone for the BMW gearbox. It's going to have a bit more power than I think the Mazda MX-5 gearbox can take. So we're going to have a turbo stuck here. So we've shown this for the weekend. We're going to have a turbo stuck up here somewhere. Got to make the manifold for it, and that will fit in, aiming for well north of 400 horsepower to achieve. We know that, probably nearer 5. And this has sort of been in production, flat welded done. We're going to do some fabrication while we're here, modifications to get it all right, and then it was sent off for powder coat afterwards. This is going to have our FIA roll cage on it as well. It's got our new steering column set up as well, but we are going for a top mounted pedal box as per Ben's request, rather than floor mounted, but we've put that option in as well. This option here, we do a blanking plate, we can do floor mount or top mount, but 90% of the time floor mount is quite nice to use. This we've put in as an option mainly because the turbo will be feeding out in this area here, so we need the exhaust pipe to come out and up, and that's the only reason we're doing it as a top mount. This is a bit of a special, shall we say, a bespoke car for this particular customer, but it was always nice to see what you get in bare format before it goes to powder coat. Right, here we go, we got not one, but two K20s. So on from this one here, we've got the K20 here, K20 here. Well, what's the difference between the two? Well, they're both Mazda-based kits, so Mazda running gear and Mazda running gear. K20 A2 engine, K20 A2 engine. Not a lot of difference between them other than in the engine bay slightly different. It's got a different inlet plenum on this as well, so an intake side of it, exhaust systems are the same. This one has the classic bodywork, doesn't it, as you would call it, which is not moulded here, and it's got the extra wide rear arches on there as well, so they're 50mm wider. This has the new Essex bodywork, so you can look by the nose cone, guys. Nose cones are very different, flat-sided, rounded-sided, you can do the choice, that's not a problem. This has got Pro Race 1.2 wheels on it, and this customer here has got some forced billet racing wheels on there, which are very, very nice. Very much different here. We've got screen, and we're going with an aero screen, and we've got a roll bar, and we've got a roll cage. That's the 50mm roll cage. Both got carbon silencers. This has got a sort of carbon interior with classic dials, and this one's got a carbon fibre dashboard with classic dials as well. LED light pack on both of them, so they're very similar but very individual. Colour is the obvious choice, baby blue, golf blue, whichever you want it, sky blue as we call it, or the yellow. Carbon front arches, and our carbon front arches on here. Got wheel woods on this one, we got wheel woods on this one. So, but there's subtleties between the two. You look at the cars here and look very, very different. Very track focused car. This is basically a AB road blaster with a screen and wipers and washers and everything else. So super clean builds on both of them. Obviously this one we've built in here, this one we're prepping for IVA and etc. and sorting out with the customer. But yeah, we love this engine and I cannot wait to see that turbocharged K20. That is just going to be awesome. Right, on with Gen 2 booster in the RR. Josie's on with the wiring in, he's putting the fuse box in here. This was here on the open day just to show sort of the bare skins of the car. It's always having it all shiny and polished and finished up there, but it's always nice to get underneath and say what's under here. This is a bit more of a project car, as you know, we're rebuilding up and etc. and getting it prepped and done. New bodywork going on, the Essex bodywork going on this for IVA and everything else. So this one's going to be up for sale, I do believe as well. People have been interested in it already. But yeah, that's cracking on. Fuse box is going in now. It's existing wiring bike loom that's on this. It's not our new looms with all of that. It's got the existing bike loom on here with the ECU and everything else. So we've got to run a new fuse board to run all the auxiliaries, lights, everything else. But this was on showcase and, you know, just shows people what's underneath. And you get to see under the skin, which is a bit different. Right, while we're here staying over the chassis time, let's get to chassis register time. It is that time of the week. It is up on this side. If you're in the queue, congratulations. I can't wait for your project to start. If you want to get in the queue, hook us up with a phone call, email, speak to Andy here, or come down and see us at the factory. We can talk you through the process, get you out in a demo car and have a little bit of fun and start your next project. Okay guys, so that is it for part one of the MK Sportscars Cars and Coffee event. But buckle your seatbelts up, keep them locked on tight because part two is coming up.